Today's podcast is brought to you by PM Powered. I am Wanda Curlee, your authority on anything that is project, program, or portfolio management. Just as a reminder, on May 3rd, that is Thursday, I will be giving a webinar on portfolio project management, the baby steps. It is sponsored by PM Powered, and we'll go over what is portfolio management, the differences between project and program, and how can you speak to your senior leadership, executive leadership on project portfolio management. Write a business case. We'll be talking about that as well. So stay tuned for Thursday, May 3rd, for my live webcast on project portfolio management, the baby steps. So without further ado, let's get into today's podcast. So the first article I have is, could this futuristic vest give us a sixth sense? Did you know that there's people that can hear color? So the thought around this vest is that if you wear it, you end up having perceptions that other people have that we normally don't have. So it's outside of our five senses that we normally have. Could this help us in project, portfolio, or program management? I would say yes, because we will be able to sense what other people are sensing on the project. And that could make us more creative and feeling more in tune to our people. So I think that would be a great thing if we can have a sixth sense about things. So let's go to the next one. On the same idea of creativeness, there's a new, the soft robotic arm is straight out of Big Hero 6. It's even from Disney. I don't know how many of people have seen Big Hero 6, but it's this big fluffy man that looks like plastic, and he's just amazing. Well, Disney has taken this one step farther, and it just shows the creativity that somebody had by seeing this Big Hero 6 that was kind of fluffy, and thinking about, hey, this could help with robotic and prosthetic arms. It also it is a way of, if you wear this, and let's say you're a quadriplegic or paraplegic, and you don't feel hugs, this now would allow you to feel a hug and allow you to give a hug back based on these prosthetic arms. So I thought it was just a unique thing about where project managers can be creative through seeing different things through different lenses and different eyes. So stay tuned on what happens in there. So staying on the idea of creativity, this next one from Singularity Hub says Stuff 3.0, the era of programmable matter. So they bring up the idea of you're sitting at your desk and now it's time to quit for the day, or you just need a break for a little bit. So you tell you stretch and you say, hey, I want to sit and watch a movie right now. So now the desk folds up into 100 little pieces. It goes now behind you and it creates a couch. And you sit on this couch, and out of the couch's arm comes a remote control. And then the TV magically appears out of something else that you no longer need. And then you might decide, hey, I want to get a burger, make myself a burger. So a kitchen appears from this programmable matter. So now instead of sitting on a sofa, you might be sitting on a chair. So stay tuned. This is something that's coming. It's not that far in the future, but it's conceivable that now we can just live in one room. So those tiny homes that we've seen, maybe they are something that we will be able to do because everything will be programmable within it. The technology is changing our lives. So we tend to be in the area of program, project, and portfolio management. We tend to be very quantitative in our day. We like data. We like to analyze it. Well, Kellogg Insight, and this comes from the Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University, says this might not be the right thing to do, that we're missing something from our analytics strategy, and that is qualitative. And in the academic world, this is called mixed methods, where you put the quantitative and the qualitative. So quantitative can tell us where we might be going or what has happened in the past, and may even get to the root causes, but it doesn't give you the human dynamic. and that's what is qualitative. Qualitative is about interviewing and getting down to what are the common themes when you interview 3, 4, 5 different people on the topic that you're analyzing. So let's say you had something fail in your manufacturing process. And yes, you did the data and you can see that something happened here or there, but why did it happen? What caused it to happen from the human perspective? How did the humans feel about it that we're dealing on those? So it's highly recommending, Kellogg is highly recommending that we add the qualitative aspect along with the quantitative if we really want to get and understand how human beings feel about this. So let's go to another thing by Kellogg Insights of the Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University. It's about how will automation affect different U.S. cities. So it's conceived that fishermen and casino dealers will be replaced with robots in the so how will this affect maybe Boston and Las Vegas? Well, Boston won't be hit as hard because there's a lot of knowledge professions that are available in Boston. You have people like lawyers and scientists and software developers. That is not as true in Las Vegas, Nevada, where it's all about casinos. That's not to say the whole thing about Nevada is true, but for that one city, it would be affected harder than Boston would be. And in fact, Northwestern has created a digital map of the U.S. that shows what cities will be affected more by automation than others. So again, as I said, Boston would be affected, but not as hard as, let's say, Las Vegas. So if you're interested in that, go and look up Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University and look for the article called How Will Automation Affect Different U.S. Cities? It's very interesting. And if you think of project management as a knowledge profession, then you need to be in those areas where knowledge is more of a foundation than traditional things that can be automated jobs, such as car dealers, fishermen, cashiers, accountants. So all those things can be automated. So let's go to our next and final article. Again, it's brought to you by Kellogg Insight. It's called Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University. It says, what makes deceit such a hard habit to break? It seems to be that we're somewhat wired that if we start being deceitful, that our brains enjoy that deceit, so it continues to accelerate. So when we find people that are unethical, they probably started with some small deceit, and they ended up being more and more deceitful. We see this in people that have done, as I like to say, stupid things. For example, there was a lady that was a contracting officer. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, and most of you who have ever done any government or have done anything with Boeing are astutely aware of this. But she started asking Boeing to do favors for her, like place her son-in-law and her daughter as employees in Boeing. And then she granted contracts to Boeing that maybe competitively Boeing shouldn't have gotten. But then when she retired out of the U.S. government, Boeing hired her, which they can hire her, but she should have been in the background and not doing anything with government contracts for a period of 5 years. Well, this didn't happen, and she ended up going to jail because she was doing unethical things. Did she start out doing unethical things at the big scale? I highly doubt it. She probably started doing things at the smaller scale and she got by with it, so she continued on doing it until she realized, hey, this is easy to do and I'm getting by with it. Well, she finally got caught. So if you see unethical behavior on your projects, stop it in its tracks. This is something that we are responsible as project managers. If you're a PMP through the Project Management Institute, you sign an ethics statement. Yes, that has to do with your ethics. but I take it one step farther that you have to be ethical as well, ethical on your project, which means stopping unethical behavior as you see it. So today's podcast was brought to you by PM Powered. Please go to PM Current and subscribe to my YouTube, my LinkedIn, my Twitter, and my Facebook accounts. I would love to see you as part of my following. If you agree with the things that I have said on here, please contact me. If you disagree with what I have said, also please contact me. If you are a project manager on any of these projects that I've spoken about, I would love to hear with you and have you on one of my podcasts. Please contact me at wanda@pmpowered.com. And remember the May 3rd the May 3rd webinar that I'm having on project portfolio management. I would love to see you there. Take care, and I'll see you next week.